let's start now with causes of World War I, and these causes we have to write. Causes of World War I, or we can say factors and forces, responsible for World War I. Factors and forces responsible for World War I. So, let us start it with an introductory line. World War I was the most devastating conflict. World War I was the most devastating conflict seen by humanity till that time. Subpoint, 8.5 million people died. 8.5 million people died and 21 million wounded. 21 million wounded. Second main point, such a devastating conflict was not a result of any single factor, rather it was an outcome of a multiplicity of factors. All right. Now, let us start with these factors. Number one, first factor is unfulfilled national aspirations. First is unfulfilled national aspirations. Played most important role in creating the circumstances for the outbreak of World War I. Now, listen to a small story, right. Yesterday I was telling you a story that there is Serbia, which is a Slavic country, and Russia is provoking Serbia. For what? That Serbia should break away from the Austrian Empire, the Habsburg Empire. Fine. So, Serbia is part of Austria for the time being. Russia is a foreign country who are provoking the Serbians to seek their independence. Now, I can say that Serbia is trying to gain independence from the Austrian Empire. Now, that's the war of independence for Serbia. But if it is war of independence for Serbia, it is secessionist activity of Serbians against the Austrians. Austria looks towards it as if they are trying to break the nation. So, for Austrians, the Serbians are terrorists, right. For Austria, the Serbians are nationalists. For Serbia, they are themselves considering them as nationalists. We are nationalists, we want to make Serbia an independent country, we are fighting for our rights. India is fighting against Britain. When Bhagat Singh takes up weapon, British call Bhagat Singh a terrorist, but we Indians call him a nationalist. So, those Serbians who are fighting for this freedom, they call themselves nationalist, but Austrians called them terrorist, and Austrians then claim that Russia is supporting the Serbian terrorists. Now that Austria is not giving freedom to Serbia, one of the Serbian nationalists, Gavrilo Princip, he is a member of an underground association or organization of the terrorists of Serbia for Austrians. He ended up killing the prince of the Austrian king, right? This prince is a crown heir apparent, means this prince was to become the next king of Austria. So he killed the future king of Austria, Ferdinand, Archduke Francis Ferdinand. When this prince was killed along with his wife at Sarajevo, Sarajevo is the capital city, right? He killed him at Bosnia, and when Gavrilo Princip, who is a Serbian nationalist, he killed Austrian prince. So two countries which are now at war, they are Austria and Serbia. It's a local war only, local war kind of a thing. Austria is to fight against Serbia. Now a Serbian person has killed the Austrian prince. Austrian government sent an ultimatum to Serbia that you have to surrender all the terrorists to us and you have to compensate for the death of the prince. Now Serbia is under threat that Austria may take revenge. So Serbia requested Russia that in case of any problem, will you support us? Russia said, obviously, you are our brothers, Slavic brothers. Now Serbia did not give any reply to Austria for the ultimatum. Austria understands very simple thing, that we are a big power as compared to Serbia. How dare Serbia is not replying? The reason is Russians are supporting them. So now Austria talks to Germany, the alliance partner, dual alliance, right? Forget about triple alliance, it's dual alliance, Germany and Austria. So Austria seeks support from Germany that in case Serbia is not agreeing to what we say and we go for a war, and if possibly Russia comes, will you support us or not? So Germany said, we are here giving you a blank check. Now what is blank check? Ask for money, men, material, weapons, whatever you want, but make sure that now that you are my friend, you must not back out. Take revenge from Serbia. Don't worry, if Russia comes, I am there to support you. With this backing of Germany, now Austria declares war on Serbia. The moment Austria declared war on Serbia, Russia came to support Serbia. The moment Russia comes, Germany has to come to support Austria. The moment Germany come to support Austria, Britain and France declared war against Germany because they are friends with Russia, right? So the allies, France, Britain and Russia, they declared war against Germany after Germany came to war to support Austria. Germany and Austria are members of Triple Alliance. These are the members of Triple Entente. So the Triple Entente member declared war against Germany and Austria. Who is the third member? It is Italy. Italy said, oh sorry, I don't want to fight. Italy left in between. Italy said, I don't want to come and fight a war here. So Italy left. In the meanwhile, Ottoman Empire, it joined the war in favor of Germany and Austria. So three players, France, Britain and Russia, fought against Germany, Austria and Ottoman Empire. This is World War I. So can I say that it was a very local conflict which unfortunately escalated, and the reason behind the escalation is the alliances created by Bismarck, right? It is only because of those alliances that this war turned into a world war. Unfulfilled national aspiration played most important role in creating circumstances for the outbreak of war. Subpoint: the spirit of nationalism infected entire Europe. Particularly after the political unification of Germany. अब जर्मनी की यूनिफिकेशन के बाद वाई देयर इज सच अ लाइक चेंज? इफ जर्मनी कैन यूनिफाई इटसेल्फ, नाउ अदर नेशनैलिटीज आर थिंकिंग वाई कांट वी How Germany is unified? After breaking away from Austria. Now other territories in Eastern Europe and other parts of Europe who are controlled by Austria, even they want to get independence. One example is Serbia. So the idea of nationalism is gaining stronger roots in Europe, and every nationality wants a different nation. Now there will be Yugoslavia, there will be Czechoslovakia, so many new countries will be created after the breakup of Austrian Empire and other empires. Similarly, the king of Russia has captured so much of the territories in Eastern Europe like Poland and others. Now even they want to get independence. So entire Eastern Europe is the region which is full of the spirit of nationalism, and everybody is ready to fight to get their nationality, right? So that is what is the position, and because of it the war has become inevitable. You know, there had been so many small wars regularly in the past, about good 10-15 years before World War I actually started. There had been regular small wars going on. Someday Macedonia is fighting Bulgaria, someday Bulgaria is fighting Romania, someday Ottomans are fighting against somebody. So small wars were going on for past many years. One of the European leaders said at that time, let's fight a big war to end the small wars. एक बड़ी लड़ाई लड़ो, सब settle करो, and then it's all over. They never knew that this big war will lead to a bigger war, World War II. So they planned ki let's fight one big war to end all the wars. Next sub point है nationalism in the Balkan land. Nationalism in the Balkan land, BALB capital BALKAN, Balkan land was most dangerous. Nationalism in the Balkan land was most dangerous. Now what is Balkan land? Just listen to it carefully, then I will tell you more about it through notes, not in print or not in writing or dictating or speaking. I will give you notes, just listen to it. When the Ottoman Empire was becoming weak, the entire Eastern European territory, be it Macedonia, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, all these countries, right, they were part of Ottoman Empire at one point of time. Now that the Ottoman Empire has become weak, all these Eastern European countries, I will name few of them again: Greece, Macedonia, Bulgaria, Romania, right? They all want to become independent. They just do not want to become independent, they want to expand as well, right? So when the Ottomans are becoming weak, the entire region gets balkanized because there are constant wars. Everybody wants to get a separate state, expand its territory. There is constant war going on in the region, and every nationality is talking about we need separate country for us. This is balkanization or Balkan region, where Balkan wars will happen. Because of these Balkan wars, World War I will happen. Some of the historians go to the extent of saying that the Balkan wars were like the dress rehearsal for World War I. Next likho. Nationalism in Balkan land was most dangerous, and it was practically impossible. It was practically impossible to satisfy the national aspirations of every group. Practically impossible to satisfy the national aspirations of every group. Let's take a very small example. Austrian nationalism want that Serbia must remain within Austria. Serbian nationalism want that we must become independent. Now if we satisfy Serbian nationalism and make them independent, then Austrian nationalism is hurt. If we respect Austrian nationalism and we do not allow Serbia to get independence, then Serbian nationalism is hurt. Now how is it possible to keep everyone happy? The entire region is like that. If you try to make one happy, the other will always be sad, and that will be a cause for a conflict that will lead to bigger war. Alright, so nationalism is most dangerous, practically impossible to satisfy national aspirations of every group. Subpoint: constant wars and battles. Constant wars and battles became a routine in the region. Constant wars and battles became a routine in the region. For example, the first and the second Balkan wars. The first and the second Balkan wars. These were in 1912-13, So yes, 1912-13 it was Balkan Wars, and 14 World War I. That is why historians call it dress rehearsal for World War I. Next subpoint, many European leaders believed that a big war is required to eliminate the ongoing unending smaller conflicts So this is one reason that why it is said that World War I was fought to end all wars, but then unfortunately it was not true. Next main point. First main point was unfulfilled national aspirations. Second main point is attitude of militarism. Now what is this attitude of militarism? Put hyphen, small line, and then write, it was believed in Europe that peace is possible only in the shadow of the strength of arms. If you have strong army, if you have better weapons, only then you can protect yourself, only then you can be sure of peace in your region. So because everyone was making more and more weapons, everyone was strengthening their armies, so obviously one day when they will fight a bigger and a more devastating war. So that is why the idea or the spirit or attitude of militarism brought the war closer. Subpoint, there started an arms race in Europe. Every European country is making new weapons. There started an arms race in Europe, and latest weapons were developed, like chemical weapons, tanks, aircrafts for use of air force and whatnot, right? Weapons were developed which poisoned European peace. Now if we go back in history and we try to find out some of the facts now, so there are few examples. For instance, one fine day Germany declared that we are going to make 3 new big naval ships, like battleships. When Germany declared this, we are making 3 ships, so Britain realized that with these 3 ships they will come very close to the number of ships that Britain have. So next day Britain Prime Minister announced we are going to make 4 more ships. The response came within a week. Germany said we are making 6 more ships. So there was such a competition going on that it now become a national ego for the nations, and then it will lead to a conflict and war. Next, third main point, diplomatic humiliations. Or the policy of taking revenge. Now what is this? Let's take one example. You are Germans living in 1890s or early 1900 or 1910, and some of you are French. Now French remember the way they have been humiliated in 1870 when the Germans came as Prussians. Bismarck came, defeated France, denied them territory, rather took away their territory, took so much of money from them, right? It was national humiliation for France. Now how can the people of France forget it? So every day the people of France were given an idea see, we can only live with pride if we revenge what they have done. So it's something like that. You know what was happening in Germany, and it was taking in France. The problem was something like this, that in Punjab today we always talk about 1984, and as long as we keep talking about 1984, we will never forget about the Sikh riots, anti-Sikh riots. We will never have that peace. So as long as we keep talking about it, the sentiments, the emotions will always be charged in Punjab. Similarly, neither I nor my girls, my daughters, nor any of their siblings, they have seen 1947. But because my grandfather told me that, see, I was in Lahore and I was to come to India, your father was in the laps of your grandmother, we were threatened, we were about to get killed, we were saved by army, right? The Muslims were going, they were killing, they were raping. He gave me one picture. So yes, at the back of my mind, I have that picture in my mind. So that is why I cannot have that kind of, bon home with Pakistan. But if there are now next 10 generations who are not talked about about anything about that 1947 anti-Hindu, anti-Muslim riots, both on India and Pakistan side, perhaps people will forget the old sad story, and possibility of having a friendship in two nations can become a better option, right? So that is what it was happening in Germany and France at that time, that diplomatic humiliation. And it is not just Germany and France, this is one example. Then the diplomatic humiliation between the Russians and some of the countries, Austrians and other countries, Ottoman Empire and other countries, Serbia, Austria, this nation, what do you call, Ottoman Empire being disturbed by the Austrians, Ottoman Empire disturbed by Russians. So this is national humiliation or diplomatic humiliation, right? Because of which every nation is ready to take revenge. Next, economic rivalries. Next main point is economic rivalries. Now what are these economic rivalries? Put a hyphen and write, with the spread of industrial revolution. With the spread of industrial revolution, the British and the German capitalists were competing against each other. Right now, Britain wants more markets, even Germany wants more markets. So there is going to be a competition for new markets, new raw material sources and everything. So this economic rivalry will lead to naval rivalry, because you want to control trade, you will strengthen your navies. When you strengthen your navies, you make your army become more stronger, and then there is a military competition out of which the war will emerge. Next, colonial and imperialistic conflicts. Colonial and imperialistic conflicts. Now what are these colonial and imperialistic conflicts? There are very limited territories left now, right? Most of the territories are already controlled by Britain, France, Belgium, Holland. Every country has already controlled much of the territories. Now when Germany enters into this colonial war, either they will take the remaining territories or they will take away the territories already controlled by other players. So this will lead to colonial or imperialistic conflicts. And Germany all of a sudden has become so aggressive, so harsh to acquire colonial possessions, that they are taking recourse to any and every mean. They are not ready to make any compromise. They want the biggest empire now. So that will lead to bigger conflicts. So let's complete the statement. Colonial and imperialistic conflicts, hyphen, the German foreign policy under William II, जो किंग था, under William II, became extremely aggressive as Germany wanted rightful place under the sun. Rightful place under the sun. Now what is the meaning of this statement, rightful place under the sun? They said, as it is like the sun never sets on British dominions, Britain has colonial possessions in all the continents. Even now, Germany should have the same empire. All over the world, we should, as Germans, should have a great empire, right? Subpoint. One of the most important examples in this context. One of the most important examples in this context is the Moroccan crisis. Is the Moroccan crisis brackets 19056. 19056. Now, what is this Moroccan crisis? Let me give you a brief idea and then I will give you a small line. Germany originally wanted to control Morocco in Africa, right? But France always wanted to control it, and Britain was supporting France because they were friends. So finally, France established its control over Morocco. It was about to establish its control over Morocco, and Germany was now sure that Germany cannot get Morocco. What Germany did? Germany started supporting the local government in Morocco, that nobody can take over Morocco, it's an independent country. Why Germany is supporting Morocco? Because Germany thought, if it's not for me, then it must not be French possession. So that is why now Germany is supporting 1905, 1906. Obviously, Jadev, that's the year. There cannot be 19056. If it is 19056, it will be 19,000. Right, 19056 is to be written like this. Great. All right. So Moroccan crisis. Write a small statement about Moroccan crisis. In the brackets, you write it. Germany wanted to challenge. Germany wanted to challenge the growing control of France over Morocco. But somehow the situation was solved when Algiers conference, when ALGERS Algiers conference brackets 1906 was held and a temporary relief was worked out. But the situation once again became hot when in 1911 a German gunboat was sent to Agadir. A German gunboat was sent to Agadir, Agadir, which was objected to by France. So these are two Moroccan crises. First one in 19056 and second one in 1911. That means Germany and France are fighting for controlling African region. Next main point. The press played an important role. The press played an important role in creating the circumstances for the war to break out. for the war to break out. Now, how did press play the role? Let's take an example today. We all are sitting at home and we are not even sure that what is happening on the borders every day. But one fine day when we switch on the news channel and a news anchor is standing on India, China or India, Pakistan borders and showing us यहाँ से हुई घुसपैठ, यहाँ से आए पाकिस्तान के नापाक सोल्जर, काट के ले गए हिंदुस्तान के फौज का सर, क्या चुप रहेगी सरकार? जवाब चाहिए। जनता पूछती है, कुछ भी हो जाता है शुरू फिर। इंडिया वांट्स टू नो फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग पाकिस्तान विल एंटर एंड बीहेड द इंडियन सोल्जर्स, विल इंडिया विल एवर टेक रिवेंज? चूड़ियां पहन ली हैं क्या भारत ने? पता नहीं क्या बकवास शुरू हो जाती है और फिर सारा देश कह रहा था बदला लो बदला लो बदला लो। इफ फॉर the beheading of 1 to 5 soldiers, which is very bad, it should not happen and it must not happen, but if for beheading of 1 to 5 soldiers we will go for a full war, we will end up getting our 5,000 soldiers killed. Is it something that you want to do? But when press plays such a role, when they do not stop and the public opinion is poisoned, then there is a political pressure on the state, the government, to launch a war. And then comes bigger disasters. So that was the role of press. Is it clear? Next, last, immediate cause. Immediate cause is murder of Austrian prince. Murder of Austrian prince Franz, F-R-A-N, F-R-A-N-Z, Franz, F-R-A-N-Z, Ferdinand, F-E-R-D-I-N-A-N-D, Franz Ferdinand, by a Bosnian Serb revolutionary. By a Bosnian Serb revolutionary, Gavrilo Princip, G-A-V-I-L-L-O, G-A-V-I-L-L-O, Gavrilo Princip, P-R-I-N-C-E-P, Gavrilo Princip, ब्रैकेट्स में लिखो, a member of Black Hand, ये ग्रुप का नाम था, a member of Black Hand, in June 1914, in June 1914, which immediately resulted in World War I within a month, basically. Within a month. So these are the causes of World War I. I have to explain you all the events of the war, important events. I will give you a beautiful story for the events. Before we start writing, write one word on your notebook because the spellings are difficult, so I am asking you to write. It is Keflin Plan. S-C-H-L-I-E double F-E-N S-C-H-L-I-E double F-E-N Plan, P-L-A-N. Now I will call it SP. Keflin Plan is SP, right? This was Germany, this was France, this was Russia. Here we have Britain and here we have Belgium, right? This is how the world map looks like. Here we have Austria and here we have Italy. Now as we know that Germany during the time of Bismarck has made an idea that France has to be isolated and Russia has to be kept a friend, so that on both the fronts simultaneous war must not happen. But unfortunately when Bismarck left, so Germans could not keep the Russians friend. Now they knew that France and Russia are becoming friends. So Keflin was the military commander of Germany during this time. This man made a plan, Skriflin plan. What the plan was? He said, see, when the war will start, there is a possibility that both of them try to attack us together. We have to counter this. How can we counter this? He said, what we will do, we will immediately launch an attack on France, and we have to make sure that it is as swift as it can be, so that immediately France is defeated and we bring all the soldiers on the eastern border to protect us from Russia. And Russia being a cold country, they are little slow starters. So once the war is open, we will immediately go for a very swift strike on France. Once France is defeated, within a week's time, we will bring all the soldiers on Russia. Now if Russia comes, we are in a position to defend us. Now that's Skriflin plan. How it is to be implemented? He said, I will divide my army in the ratio of 1:10. The German army will be divided in the ratio of 1:10. If I send one soldier to France from this side, 10 soldiers will come through Belgium and attack Paris from the rear. And this has to be very, very fast. So Belgium must not get time to resist. That is why he is sending more army from Belgium and less from this side. Right? It has to be so fast, so swift, so planned that Belgium must be defeated without any resistance possible. So send the biggest army from this side and a smaller army from this side. Now if Belgium is defeated and we have just crossed, Britain will not be able to respond. Now that was his plan, and it's a marvelous plan, brilliant plan. For one soldier going from this side, let's say we have 1 lakh soldiers, so 10,000 will go from this side, 90,000 will come from this side. They will just blow Belgium away and enter from the rear and take over Paris. France is defeated, come back and save yourself from Russia. Now that was his plan. Unfortunately for Germany, he died few years before the war actually started. Now that he has died, Montke became the new commander of German army, and every person always believe I am more intelligent. So he said, no more Skriflin plan, it's dangerous, let's make Montke plan. It's M-O-N-T-K-E, Montke plan. Now what Mr. Montke is saying, he said it is little dangerous that if I am sending only 1 soldier from here and 10 from this side, if the French move more swiftly and take over our side Berlin, then so I can't take this risk. I will change this proportion, it will be 1:4. If 1 soldier will go from this side, now only 4 will go from this side. But what he ended up doing, he made the Belgium attack little weak. Now Belgium can resist. If Belgium resists, Britain may come to their help. So the entire plan can fail, and exactly this is what will happen now. When the war started, the Germans adopted Montke plan. 1 soldier tried to sneak into France from the international border, and the other tried to come through, 4 tried to come through Belgium. The French, they created a defense line here on the borders where a river called River Marne flows, right? On this river they created a defense line, and while creating a defense line, they basically blew up all the bridges so that the Germans cannot immediately cross. Now when the Germans reached here, the bridges have been blown, they have to stay back, and the French fire opened. Now that the Germans cannot move further, they have stopped here. In the meanwhile, when they were coming for Belgium resisted. The Prime Minister of Belgium said, we are not a road that you come and bypass us and then go to France. Sorry, stay hold and let's fight. The moment the Belgian attack on the German invaders, Britain announced that Belgium is a neutral country. How can Germany violate the neutrality of Belgium? Now Britain comes to help Belgium, and Britain rushed army to help France. Now from Belgium to France, the entire western front has stagnated. Neither the German army can move further, they have hold on to their positions, nor the French army can move further. What happened now? Because of this stagnation, stalemate, we call it stalemate. Now there is a stalemate on the western frontier, because of which the trench warfare started. Now what is trench warfare? On both the sides trenches were dug, khadde khode, soldiers sat in. Now keep waiting for 4 years, nothing will happen on this side. बस फ्री बैठे रहो 4 साल तक. फ्री इन द सेंस एक उठेगा गोली मार दो, फिर नीचे बैठे रहो, फिर उठो गोली मारो, बस यही चलता रहेगा. 4 years this is stagnation. Now Western front stagnated, Russia attacked. Now that Russia attacked, within no time Russians came unexpectedly. Germany had to send more soldiers on this side. Here though they couldn't move further, but on this side Germany took all the revenge and entered Russia. The Tsar of Russia had never thought of giving modern weapons to his soldiers. So Russian army was the weakest army. Germany played havoc in Russia. 5 million Russian men were lost. It's not that they all died. Many of them died. Many of them were lost. Many of them were missing. Many of them were prisoner of war. But 5 million 50 lakh men missing ho gaye. Now that's a huge number. Because of this, Russia faced Russian Revolution of 1917. That the Tsar is a stupid man. How could he get so many people killed without any plan for the war? So Russians revolted against the Tsar. Russian Revolution happened. When this Russian Revolution happened, Russia walked out of war. When Russia walked out of war, now the Eastern Front came to an end. The German soldiers are free, they came back. By the time they came back, USA entered the war. Now why USA entered the war, I will tell you. USA entered the war, and with the help of US army, now Germany was defeated. This is first explanation of war. Why USA entered the war? Now what has happened? Because of the stalemate on the Western Front, because of stalemate, Germany became very desperate. Germany said like सारे plan ही fail हो गए यार, we are gaining nothing out of this now. So what happened? Germany started using poisonous gases. Germany was the first to use chemical weapons. They started using poisonous gases, and then they launched submarine attacks. Germany started submarine attacks using its gunboats, or called U-boats, right? Gunboats called U-boats, these submarines. And there had been international order, there had been an international agreement that no passenger ship, the ship in which civilian people, no passenger ship will be attacked by submarines. You can attack the navy ships, but you cannot attack the merchant ship or the passenger ship. Now Germany attacked one British passenger ship in which civil people are going. It is called Louisiana. Louisiana name ship was attacked by German U-boat. In this British ship, 100 American people were traveling and all of them died. Germany says that see, this ship is like projected to be a passenger ship, but we knew that they were sending arms in this ship, that is why we attacked. But the British said no, there were only passengers. America said 100 were my people. How can you kill my people? I have to come and now fight for my people. This is one reason that America entered the war. And other reason, the British intelligence agency MI5, right? The British intelligence agency, they decoded a message. The message was that Germany is in talks with Mexico, and with the help of Germany, Mexico is planning to attack USA. And because now USA comes to know that Germany is helping Mexico to fight against USA, Germany was the prime target of USA. They entered the war. So these are two things. One, sinking of the ship in which 100 Americans died, and other, the British intelligence decoding a message that Germany is sending help to Mexico to start a war against USA. That is why USA entered the war.